Welcome to a special bonus episode of Character Creation Spotlight, everyone. In this bonus segment, we are shining a light on some current or up-and-coming games to keep an eye out for. I'm one of your hosts, Amelia, and today my co-host Ryan and I are welcoming Jeffrey Hayes to talk about Haunted Hill Academy, a two-player, fate-based game about a mysterious boarding school.
Welcome to Character Creation Spotlight, Jeffrey. It is really great to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here.
Absolutely. Could you start us off with telling us a bit about yourself and what sort of projects you have going on right now?
Yeah, so my name is Jeffrey Hayes. I'm a professional game master based out of San Francisco. That is how I make my living. Somehow, I do my best.
Nice.
That's a cool living, though. There are worse ways to make a living.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I have a background in drama therapy, so I bring that to my game mastering experience. So all of my games are about emotional growth and development.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My business is Critical Growth Games, and the idea from that came from when Critical Role and all these other actual play shows were getting super big. Everyone got the culture got really about critical success and crit fail. And I was like, can we focus on the critical moments of character growth? Can that be what our games are about?
Absolutely.
So, yes, please, more of that.
That's what all of my games are about. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I love it. So since this is an abridged version of our normal show, we're going to stick to the highlights instead of doing a full 3 hours about the system. So let's go ahead and jump in and find out what this game is all about.
What's in a game?
Yeah, could you start off by telling us a bit about the core concept of Haunted Hill Academy?
Absolutely. Haunted Hill Academy is basically, what if that notorious old haunted mansion in your neighborhood was a boarding school you could go to, and you could learn there and find out all about the spooky secrets. I was very inspired by works like Betrayal at the House on the Hill and Cabin in the Woods, where they have all of these different supernatural things coexisting at once, just one door away, just always behind one closed door that you could open and unleash a Pandora's box of all sorts of stuff to happen to you. And I was like, man, I wish I could have gone to high school in a place like that.
It'd be way more interesting than where I went. So are you playing as students at this boarding school?
Absolutely,
or
yeah.
Teachers
Everyone plays as students. It's kind of like if you took Masks and the focus on identity and label shifting in Masks and mashed that with Bluebeard's Bride, where you're constantly searching through a big old haunted mansion.
Oh, cool.
That is the game, basically.
Very cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the setting and what characters are specifically doing? Is there a specific time frame that you're playing in, or can you kind of set this mansion wherever you want?
Yeah, definitely. The assumption going into the game is that it's more or less modern day, East Coast United States. But again, it is meant to be the ubiquitous mansion. So if you want it to be in the future, one of my favorite games of this, we played it. This Haunted Hill Academy was on a space station.
Cool.
It had been excavated from the ground it was on and lifted into a space station. So that was super fun. The idea of kind of the history of the place is it's been around as long as there have been photographs to prove that it's been around, and no one is sure quite when it's built. So you can go back as far as you want. You can set it in any time frame you want. But as far as gameplay is concerned, characters are in kind of a sandbox environment. This is your school to run amok in. If you want to, ditch class every day to try and figure out how to become an evil wizard, you can do that. If you want to become valedictorian, if you want to take a ghost to prom, you can do any of these things. So it is your slice of life supernatural horror, and I'm not here to stop you.
That's amazing. You talked about the future, and it instantly made my brain go to, what if Starfleet Academy
But haunted.
But haunted.
Haunted Starfleet Academy, here for it. Love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what sort of materials do we need to play a game of Haunted Hill Academy?
So we need fate dice. Those are those 6-sided dice with 2 blanks, 2 minuses, and 2 pluses. We need something to write notes with. If we were playing in person, we could use index cards, but I don't know if anyone will ever play in person again. So we have Google Docs. It's great. And yeah, you would need a writing implement in person. And honestly, that's about it.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
So what kind of characters can you make in this game? What are our choices?
That's a great question. How do I even answer that? You create a student, like a normal teenage person, for certain values of normal. Like, again, the base assumption of the game is that you are an average student coming to this school trying to unearth mysteries. But if you want to jump ahead and create a character who is already magical in some way or supernatural in some way, that is an option available to you. You can play as like, you know, a burnt out stoner type. You can play as like a, jock star MVP, or you can play as like a vampire who wants desperately to feel human again. You have options.
That's amazing. I think we have enough to walk through creating some characters. Could you walk us through creating some characters together right now?
Let's make some people.
Absolutely. I would love to. There's just one step I would like to do first, which is if we could look at the draft together and scroll down to the Academy history where it says rumors. If we could each either choose or come up with one rumor about the Academy, I think that'll inform a lot about the kind of people we'll be playing based on what rumor drew them to this school, maybe.
All right. So we're looking to figure out some rumors about this Academy. It looks like you've got quite a few examples in there, but I'm assuming that we can make up our own stuff as well.
Oh, absolutely. Please feel free.
Oh, wonderful.
All right.
So let's see. Just some examples I'm seeing. In order to graduate, you must leave a piece of your soul in an object somewhere in the building. It's possible to commune with artifacts to learn more about previous students. The supernatural rumors are a smokescreen for a drug smuggling operation based out of the Forbidden Wing. These are amazing.
Thank you. I tried to draw inspiration from everywhere that felt even remotely spooky, so we had to get the Scooby-Doo reference in there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so there's definitely a wide array of potential rumors, and if we're each coming up with one, this is going to be a wild school. Okay.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing is like, because they're rumors, we don't have to worry about defining anything about the world in stone. This is just stuff we've heard.
I'm going to say that the library is actually a weird point in space-time where it connects to all other libraries everywhere.
Yes.
So it is technically the biggest library in the world.
Nice.
The second you said the library, my soul lit up, and then it just got better from there.
I love libraries.
Let's see.
And Ryan, I didn't even say anything evil.
I know. Okay, I'm going to say there is a crystal hidden in the Forbidden Wing that is said to transform you into your true self.
Ooh, I really like that.
I knew it was coming. I was like, how is this going to be about love or magical girls?
It's something like that, right? A little more ambiguous, but still. You got one you want to throw at us, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I'm going to go with one that I've already written here. The school's founder, Alestra Welcott, filled her house with hidden traps and torture chambers to punish anyone snooping around to try and find the vault where she kept her vast fortune.
Ooh.
And it's rumored that it's still in the house somewhere.
Oh, boy.
All right. Secret treasure, too.
We love a treasure hunt.
Always a good time.
Absolutely.
Cool. So if we scroll back up to character creation on here, we are playing a fate-based game, which means we have aspects. We have short descriptive phrases about our characters. And we have 4 different prompts for aspects in this game. We have our core belief. That is like your guiding light, your moral compass. It is the thing that defines how you approach the world. This can change during the course of the game, but if it does, that's like a world-changing shift. It's a big deal. We have why Haunted Hill Academy. So like the reason you've come to study at this school. It's a prestigious institution, so there's a good reason there, but it's also the spookiest place on earth. So it's really about what's drawing you here. Your greatest desire, that can be anything between like a goal and a wish. It can be very short term or very long term. Some of my favorite examples of this have been, I want to make the world a little better every day. I want to usurp Satan himself. And I just want to take Stacey Kevinson to prom.
all of those. All at once.
All of
I want to usurp Satan and take Stacey Kevinson to prom while making the world a better place.
Well, I think that's the only way that she would agree to go to prom with you.
That makes
if
sense.
You usurp Satan.
That is kind of her
She's
deal.
like, you have to prove it to me.
Yeah. I mean, somebody that really wants to go to the thing with me is going to have to usurp Satan. I'm just sorry. You do that.
That's the ultimate promposal right there.
I love that. And then finally, we have our plaguing question. So this is your opportunity to really telegraph to your guide, the person running the game, what kind of supernatural horror you want your character to experience. Some of my favorites in the past have been, how did my parents really die? What if I wake up one day and everyone else is gone? Why doesn't my reflection ever look right? What happens when I black out? And am I the bad guy?
That's really cool. All right. So it sounds like we're making aspects right now.
Yeah, let's start off with aspects.
That sounds fun.
So
All right.
Starting with core belief.
Core belief.
All knowledge is good knowledge.
Ooh, that's very good.
Nice. Trying not to think of magical girl-centric ones, but I think I'm just going to have to lean into it.
I think you're going to have to lean into it,
I think I'm
Ryan.
just going to have to
I think
lean
we
into it.
decided that we gave up on trying to do
I know.
anything that isn't that.
That's what it sounded like as a listener to the show.
I mean, I want you to know that I'm certainly not trying to be anything other than myself right now. So
All right. Core belief. Love is the greatest educator for justice.
Awesome. That tracks.
All right. You want to create a character with us, Jeffrey?
I would love to. My character's core belief is going to be everything has a price. All right. That is going to take us to Why Haunted Hill Academy.
Yeah.
I know I'm stuck on this one.
Yeah, why on earth would you want to go to such a cool school? So I'm also not fighting against type today, and my type is always to create a super secret spy. So
Perfect. Love it.
my reason for coming to Haunted Hill Academy is I'm actually being hired by an organization to be here. And so my aspect is this is the mission.
Okay.
Oh, that's very nice.
Okay. I think something's formulating a bit here. My reasoning is because the school has the fastest internet connection out of all the available universities. And my aspect is I'm in.
I love it.
I love that. That's very good.
This place, spooky as what? Great internet.
Well, I mean, if you got multi-dimensional portals to every library in the entire world,
That's true.
like there's got to be some pretty fast internet to interconnect.
That's true.
you
And
there.
everybody knows that computers are actually powered by ghosts anyway.
Exactly.
This is true.
So that's why they don't work most of the time.
But I'm just picturing like this big old Victorian clapboard house, like parts of it falling off. And it's like, they have the fastest internet.
I know.
Right. It's like completely falling apart, but somewhere in the basement, there's just like a server room.
That's where all the money went, right?
Right.
It's true. And that's why they got rid of modems, because modems allowed you to hear the voices of the ghosts as it was connecting to the internet.
That's what modems are. That's why it makes that sound.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's the screams of the damned.
Yeah, exactly.
And or dial up.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You've got mail. All right.
I put, it is the only place left with something to teach me.
Ooh,
That's nice.
That's very good.
Dun, dun, dun.
That says a lot about the character very quickly.
Mhm.
I like that a lot. All right. So that will bring us to greatest desire. And this is always phrased as an I want statement.
I feel like I'm taking this very seriously right now.
I appreciate it.
The stakes are so high.
The stakes are so high. If I can just use this opportunity to mention something, that's one of the things I love that gets captured in the gameplay of this system is the feeling of everything is at 11 out of 10 all the time of like,
yes.
Oh, I got to find out the secret legacy of my grandparents that I'm tied into that might be a cult for Cthulhu, but I also have to get an A in math, but I also have to get a date to prom, but I also have to get an elite part in the school play. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to balance.
It is a lot.
Being a teenager is tough.
It sure is.
Okay. I'm going to say I want to know the last unknowable thing, death.
Well, gosh darn.
Yeah, serious. Bum, bum, bum.
That's awesome.
And I'm apparently leaning into a magical girl hacker archetype, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So my greatest desire is I want to prove that I'm the best hacker in the world.
Love that.
And that's why you went to a haunted school.
With a good internet package.
The good internet connection.
Yep.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
Magical girl hacker at a haunted academy is not an archetype I knew I needed, but
yep.
But now that we're here.
It's like just a flavor combination that feels right together.
It really does, yeah.
I'm going with, for my super secret spy, I want to be a normal kid for once.
Aw.
Yeah. Everyone else is doing all these great things, and he just wants to maybe go get ice cream.
Mm-hmm. And not have to worry about anything.
See a movie, maybe get a C in a class. I don't know.
I love it.
And that is going to bring us to our plaguing question.
I know, I'm really stuck on this one.
Yeah, there are so many different options for how this can go. We can bring in some psychological horror. Body horror comes up a lot with this for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll get us started here because I like it when, like, personal taste for me, I like it when the plaguing question could have a mundane answer, but is almost safer if it has a supernatural one. Mm-hmm. So I'm picturing this as a character who's been receiving threats in his dorm room every night from someone who knows he's here on a mission. And my plaguing question, who has been sending the threats?
Nice.
You'd almost prefer it to be a ghost.
Right. I went with why can I feel the emotions of computers?
Yes. Cyber magical girl.
There's ghosts in them that are computers. I was thinking either like ghosts or like feeling the emotions of other users as they're using their computers.
Awesome.
I'm going to say, what if knowledge isn't power?
Oh, I feel the horror of this character. Everything about this character has been knowledge-based. Yep. How dare you do this to our sweet baby? I am personally affronted.
As I said in our Call of Cthulhu episodes too, I like to take my little person and then I like to hurt them. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything about me.
Nope.
It's probably fine. It's probably fine.
Cool. So this is going to take us into our identities. So in this game, when you want to add to your role, you don't add a skill set, you add an identity. These identities that you start with at the beginning of the game are based off of common high school archetypes that we've seen over and over again. And I say archetypes, I mean stereotypes. Let's be real. And this is intentional. It's, you feel as a teenager, or at least I did, like I had to fit into a box to get anything done.
Yeah.
And so there's this push-pull mechanic throughout the game of these identities going up and down quite a bit. And throughout the course of the game, you can unlock new identities. So my question to the two of you is, do we want to just play with, for our character creation today, the base identities, or do we want to unlock some other options?
You know we want more options.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome. So in addition to here on identities, we also have a list. If you scroll down to the section marked unlockables and advancement, there's a subsection of identities under unlockables. So for these, the only requirement that I'm going to have for us is if we have any unlockable identities that we use today, we must have a narrative justification for how we unlocked that. There are examples in each one of those of how you might have unlocked it, but you can come up with your own narrative justification. But it's just something that would be helpful to us if we were playing the game to get us into the space of the character. And of course, because I'm playing with the two of you, I did send you a magical girl and necromancer identity.
You did. It's right there.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the way this is going to work is we're going to have 6 points to spend total. And you can spend that into your identities. You can have no more than 4 points in any one identity.
okay. Well, you said we have 6 points. We spend 4 points in the identity, or do
You
we
can
do it
spend
between multiple identities?
Yes, you take multiple identities. Yes.
Oh, okay.
6 points up to 4 can go into one identity. You could spend all 6 points in as 1 point each in 6 different identities.
Oh, this makes me super happy.
So you're not locked into just being a magical girl. You can be a nerdy jockey magical girl.
Because I saw Glitch, and that one really sang to me a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It almost feels like almost like a Neo type from the Matrix.
Definitely.
Maybe. Which would be really kind of a cool. I think I might be doing 2, 2, and 2 for mine between Nerd, Glitch, and Magical Girl, because that just sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna lock that in.
Awesome.
I don't even know exactly what all of them do, but you know what? It really paints a nice picture for this character.
Yeah, definitely. So because these aren't skill sets, they kind of can do anything that you can convince the guide they should be able to do, right? I have listed under each of them some examples of when you could roll with these identities. So like, you know, Nerd might be used to recall some extremely specific information. Glitch might be used to literally clip through walls. You have your options available to you, but it's whatever feels right in the moment and feels true to where the character is at.
I like that.
Most of the unlockable identities have to do with feeling, you know, outside of humanity in some way. So whenever your character feels like they don't fit in with humanity, you're probably going to use one of those identities.
Very cool.
I feel like I'm going to say 3 for necromancer and 3 for nerd.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Just feels correct.
Just a little bit of growing to do in each, and you'll be top tier, a top shelf necromancer.
I'm writing all this, but I'll type it into the character sheet later on.
There you go.
So that we have it.
I'm going to, given my character's proclivities, I'm going to keep him with the standard identities for now. We're going to go 4 into cadet, 1 into rebel, and 1 into outsider.
I like it.
Nice.
Cool. Hey, guess what? We're done. We created characters.
Oh boy. I assume we gotta
Did it.
probably have to do some naming.
We do have to do some naming. There is one other thing that I want to point out on the character sheet here, which is our academic tracker. So in this game, unlike other games, we don't have hit points. We don't have consequences or anything like that. Your character in combat can take as many hits as you think narratively makes sense.
Okay.
They're not going to black out or anything unless you decide that happens. Also, character death is never something the guide can inflict on the player. It is something that the player can choose for themselves if that's what they want. But the thing that is on par with character death that they have to be aware of is expulsion. So throughout your game, you are going to be, breaking a lot of school rules probably to find the fun things in this wonderful haunted mansion. And every time you break a rule and get caught doing that, your academic tracker is going to slip down a step. If it ever hits F, you have an expulsion hearing, and you must make the defense of a lifetime. And if you do not, you are expelled from the school, and your story at Haunted Hill Academy abruptly ends.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's how we kind of build in that weird tension of like, yeah, it's all about the horror, but it's also about the horror of like trying to live a normal life, which I think all of us really understand.
Yes. That's the true horror.
Yeah, I'm also remembering, since we are not playing the one-on-one version of this game, I mean, we're not playing this game at all, but let us go into the conceit that we are all playing together for the multiplayer variant, which is the thing. We're going to scroll on down on the sheet here to customizing your game, the multiplayer variant. And we're going to take these three individuals and make them into a group with our fifth character aspect, the shared secret.
Ooh.
So when we are all ready, and since we have completed everything but our names, the players collaborate together to determine a secret they all share. As a group, we get to pick one of the questions below, or we can come up with our own. So the questions I have pre-written are, what incredible thing did we see? Oh, I've left out a very key part of the game, and I'm glad we're here. Obviously, so this is a big old haunted mansion. It used to be a haunted mansion. When the person who, lived in the mansion died, they said it had to be turned into a school, but everything in the school had to stay as is. So, students have classes in like sewing rooms and greenhouses and kitchens, etc., instead of traditional classrooms, because there weren't many in the house. To kind of acquiesce to this demand, a whole third of the school is off limits to students and is called the Forbidden Wing. And that is where the spookiest stuff is supposed to happen in the school. There are so many rumors like, if you go into the Forbidden Wing, the rooms change around, or you might go in and never be able to come out because it'll eat you, or there's actually a whole separate mirror school in the Forbidden Wing. So that's just something that I wanted to make crystal clear about it, is what the Forbidden Wing is, because I think we mentioned it but didn't actually say what it is. Yeah. So shared secret. What incredible thing did we see when we all snuck into the Forbidden Wing together? Or what supernatural trait do we all share that we can't tell anyone else about? Or what horrible thing did we all take part in together? Or what school disapproved club are we all part of, and why is it so important to each of us?
Interesting.
Do any of these stand out to the two of you, or do they spark new ideas in your brains?
I mean, I feel like we could have a treasure hunter club.
Ooh. I mean, that kind of would gel with my character's interests as well.
Yeah.
I was also curious if there's something to like a hacking club. Because it feels definitely linked to Ryan's character. I don't know if the knowledge of hacking kind of jives with Amelia's character or not.
I wonder if the treasure hunting might even be better, because I think my character wouldn't want to associate with other hackers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because they're above them.
Yeah. Cool. I do
like
the idea of the treasure hunting club for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like not super official. It's just like us looking for treasure, but we can register it as a club.
Well, it's school disapproved, so I don't think we've registered.
We don't even have to register.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it just the three of us, or do we have a fourth member who is an NPC?
I think it's fun to have an NPC.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
So but now in my head, I'm like, okay, but who is the NPC?
Right.
Yeah, I think we want a name and like one key identity for this person.
I think they're a person that like they and their parents did not know that this was a haunted, creepy school or anything. They're just like super freaked out by this whole experience.
That's really
They just like
good.
thought this was like a regular boarding school.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great hook for my character who wants to also be normal.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're just transferred here from a different boarding school.
What is the most beige sounding name we can give this person?
Edward.
Shout out to all our Edwards out there.
Yeah.
Hey, Edwards.
Hey, Edwards, what up?
I think his name is Edward Whitmore.
Yeah, it totally is. Shout out to all the Edward Whitmores. Cool.
That's amazing. Now we just need names for ourselves, right?
Not quite. So we know
more
that
stuff.
thing, but we actually have to write in this fifth aspect, and each of us has to have a different phrasing of it. So a relationship to our treasure hunter club.
Okay. So it's just like a thing about
It's about
the
your
club,
relationship to it. So in the example I gave, the 4 students involved accidentally summoned a demon. And the 4 aspects that came out of that are the demon is a game of pretend we took too far. I'll seal the demon away at any cost. I can get unimaginable power if I let the demon run free. Or what if summoning the demon wasn't an accident? So it's 4 very different feelings of the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to say the school has secrets and the treasure is the answer.
Nice.
All right. Mine's finding this treasure is the ultimate puzzle that I need to crack.
Ooh. I was thinking about my character and how the treasure hunting club is useful for him to maybe complete his mission, even though we haven't even decided what that is yet. But it's also just a fun, silly thing that feels like he can be a kid. So I'm calling this aspect 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, I like it.
Very nice. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I have also come up with a name for my character, and that is Austin Cog.
Nice.
I'm going to name my character Hypatia Lowell.
Hypatia is very good.
Ryan, I thought of a name before you.
I know. This happened twice now.
Mark it on your calendars, everyone.
Trying to think of a cool hacker name. That's what I'm hung up on.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, obviously Austin Cog is the code name. He's Agent 82.
Why 82?
I don't know. It was the first number that came to mind.
Okay. I didn't know. I was like, really?
No, there's no significance. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right. So my character's name is Elmira Argent. And she goes by XX, mixed case, and then the omega symbol XX. That's her hacker name.
I love that. My last question before we conclude character creation for both of you is we have these unlockable identities that we haven't necessarily explained how your characters got. So I would like to hear the narrative justification for how Necromancer and then Glitch and Magical Girl came into these people's lives.
I would say Necromancer is probably easier to explain.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you've been at the school for a couple of years and like living in the library. And because it's all of the libraries, there's probably some like demon libraries in there too. And just, I think at this point, still just dabbling, just, just small bone constructs at this point. We haven't like fully raised anything from the dead. At this point, it's just, like maybe like a rabbit or a bird or something, but not like a full human. Still working my way up.
Very nice.
Oh man, I'm like having to push down the GMing muscles in me Because I want to be like, so who's there the first time and you summon someone? And what's your relationship like with that person?
This show is extremely difficult to make because I want to like... I have described it as the eternal foreplay of RPGs. It's just...
It's so much.
Just never get there. We just never get there.
We just never get there. Nope. Well, my character was kind of hacking her way through a popular MMO and somehow got pulled into it. And she's not sure why. It was at school. It was late one night by herself in her dorm and got pulled into this thing. And the main heroine goddess figure in the game granted her the ability to get out of the game back to reality as long as I took up the charge. That was kind of like the whole impetus of the game itself. Like you're these characters that are like trying to save the world from darkness, so on and so forth, by using magical transformation powers. So then I came back, but instead of just being a magical girl, there was some wires crossed, and that gave me my glitch powers too.
That's awesome.
Trapped in a game is always like the best answer.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
No.
And you took only like mundane ones, right? Like normal, like stereotype ones.
Yep. I just took the normal ones.
Just your Joe average spy.
Yeah,
just your average
spy.
Teenage spy.
Hello, fellow kids.
Yes, just like that.
I too am 16 years old, just like the youth of today.
All right, so we've made characters, right?
Yeah,
we
made
did
our
it.
Characters. Character creation is very quick in this game.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have like so many hooks already, just from this. Like you said, you're itching to just like pull on all of these strings already. That's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love them.
I like this a lot, and I love that you can spread your characters through multiple different descriptors like that. That's those identities are pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that you have the option to do more than one. It's not just picking a playbook and trying to fit everything into that.
And like your character can drastically change identities over the course of a single session. Like you can completely swap who you are and then swap back next session, and it's a fun exploration.
Much like being a teenager.
Much like being a teenager. Someone asked me like, so the academic tracker is like the main thing that works against you since you don't have HP? And I'm like, kind of. Like, that's not the only thing at stake. Like, you are constantly battling to keep your sense of self in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also maybe you're not. Like,
right.
Your sense of self is always fluid and changing, and sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not. And those emotional reactions that come up, that's kind of the thing that's at stake in the game.
Have you considered that your worst enemy is actually yourself?
No.
Oh, I was the monster all along. Yes.
Or was it actually the person I saw in the mirror, or like the demon who was masquerading as my reflection?
Mm-hmm. It was actually the ghost that was wearing a human suit.
There we go.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a mirror, it was a window.
Oh.
Layers upon layers.
It's so deep.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, is there anything else that you want to highlight about the Kickstarter or about this game that we haven't gone over yet?
I mean, I feel like there's just so much to the game that I'm proud of. Like, there are so many examples of like rooms in the Forbidden Wing and characters that you can get into. The game itself is very simple, but I've put a lot of love into the text of it to make it as evocative as possible. And I'm excited for people to get their hands on it.
Yeah, I can definitely tell even from what we've done here that it's very lovingly crafted. And there's just so much to go on, even from like the couple examples that we looked over.
Thank you. So I will say that we're a year out from the completed PDF because I want to take the time to get the art and the layout and everything. But anyone who backs at the $5 and up level gets immediate access as soon as the Kickstarter is completed to this plain text version so that you can play immediately and have fun with it. And anyone who backs at the $250 level gets to sit down with me and play the game. So,
very nice.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this game.
Thank you.
This was a great time. I had so much fun. I love doing these. Do you want to remind everybody where they can find you, where they can find the Kickstarter, all of that?
Absolutely. So you can find me at Jeffrey Jeff Rar, R-A-W-R on Twitter. But that's mostly a place where I post the pictures of the flowers I get myself each week because I'm #worth it. You can follow Haunted Hill Academy on Twitter at Haunted Hill Acad, and there's a pinned tweet that will take you to the Kickstarter link. But you can also just find it on Kickstarter under Haunted Hill Academy. And you can learn more about my business, www.criticalgrowthgames.com.
Very cool. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us for this special bonus episode of Character Creation Spotlight. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check out the Haunted Hill Academy Kickstarter, which is going on right now as of the release of this episode. We will see you next time. Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter at CreationCast or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can be found in the show notes. If you'd like to leave us a rating or review, we have links to various review platforms out there, including Apple Podcasts, in our show notes. Also, check the show notes for links to our other projects. Thanks for joining us, and remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We will see you next time.
Now we gotta read some show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Character Creation Cast is hosted by the One Shot Podcast Network. If you enjoyed our show, visit oneshotpodcast.com, where you will find other great shows like All My Fantasy Children.
Each week, Aaron Katana Saez and Jeff Stormer take a listener-submitted prompt and, using some of their favorite tabletop RPGs, create an original fantasy character. Along the way, they share laughs, stories, verbal hugs, and populate a shared universe, one story at a time.
Yeah.
I did it.
Me too.
Look at that.
There are waveforms.
Professionals.
Hooray.
I feel like even though we've had we've been late on getting this month's series out and we're behind and we're sorry, we have no content. Why do I feel like we've been recording every day?
Because we have so much content, but it's just not for November.
But it's we have so much content, but none of it's what we need.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's true. Well, because we got cool things like these Kickstarters going on right now, right? So this is the third spotlight in the last month.
Yeah. No, and then we had our micro game stuff for the bonus thing. Yep. I know. It's just I keep thinking, I'm like, I feel like we've been recording a lot of stuff. Why do we have nothing? Oh, that's all right.
It's fine.
Oh, I spent like 15 minutes trying to explain to Nate what a Nokia phone was. And he was like, so like Android? And I was like, no, buddy, like a phone. And he was like, yeah, but like when you typed and it had the letters, and I was like, no, buddy, it was a phone. It just had numbers for like doing phone things. And he like could not wrap his head around it.
No.
I was like, bless you, child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's never seen a phone that was just for calling, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what a world. What a world. He didn't know what Oregon Trail was, though, either. So,
see, we've already exposed my kids to rotary phones, and
I know.
They weren't functional, but they understood.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was trying to explain that's how we used to play Snake. It was just on a phone. And he was like, yeah, when it gets to apples. And I was like, apples? It was just a little pixel. I don't know. He's like, no, they're apples, Mom. And I was like, I don't think so. He's like, you're so old, lady.
Oh, amazing.
Kids these days.
Definitely. This game actually like spun out of my work with kids, with middle schoolers, and it was really fun. And like I was explaining the game and like the thought process to them, and it was like we were having a great time, but they made some reference that I didn't get, and they were like, "Oh, Jeffrey, do you feel old?" Everyone drop an F in the chat for Jeffrey, and I was like, "What does that mean?" Oh no! You're making it worse.
Stop it!
Oh no!
I feel that way. I have much younger siblings too. My youngest sibling, I think, is just about to turn 20. Yeah. And so like I talk to them and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. You're saying all these words and I don't understand you. Like I felt old for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like they have way more in common with my son than, well, they're closer in age to my son than they are to me. So it's like, you guys go talk about Sonic or whatever kids are into.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yay.
Yay.
Woo!
Yay.
All right. Gonna go ahead and stop my recording.